It's time for the 3:30 Focus with Ted London, powered by the law offices of Ted London and Associates.
Dr. Al, thank you so much for going with that a little bit longer. Welcome back, everybody, to the afternoon show here at WVON with the T-Bla and Darlene. You got to leave it up, though, because this is Ted London's song, so I got to ask him questions about this song. This was Ted's request today, right, Ted? Ted.
Yes.
I love you and Kelly. If this is the song you listen to when you're with her, because when he says, this is my favorite part, turn it up, Al. All right, Ted. There you go. This is your time. This is your time. Why'd you pick this song today?
Well, you know what? First of all, I just like it. How about that? I like Ashford and Simpson.
Oh, I
love
that.
We don't play that a lot on WVON. You know what? And it came across my iPad, my Pandora this morning as I was coming to the office. And again, so typically that's my rule of thumb. What I'm hearing on the way to the office in the morning, or if Kelly and I were listening to something the night before, that's what I'm going to share with the listeners. So, but I was wondering, was someone turning that music up or not?
Oh yeah, we were turning it up because Al thought we were turning it down to bring us so we could start the show again. But then it got to the chorus, and I said we cannot play Ashford and Simpson without getting the chorus. Without sharing that with our listeners here. Oh, my goodness.
They are great.
Snowbird down the hill.
Hey, Attorney London, how you doing?
Hey, Mr. T, how are you this afternoon?
Man, I am fantastic. I could not be better if I tried.
Well, it's a beautiful Thursday afternoon. You guys are on the air. You guys have great people listening to you all around the country on iHeartRadio this afternoon.
Right.
How could you not be terrific?
And we're speaking to Attorney Ted London.
And you listen, that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
That's just a bonus. So, you know what, as always, D. Hill and Mr. T, it is such a pleasure and a privilege to join you guys on Thursdays here on the venerable WVON 1690 AM. Even, we have so many listeners listening on iHeart as well. I know that because, again, we get the calls, we get the clients from Texas, California, Washington, D.C., Maryland. A lot of clients we get that are in Mississippi and in Arkansas. And again, many of them are retired. They moved from Chicago back to their homes in the states that they were born in, but they still stay connected to Chicago by way of WVON. So to all of you who are listening all around the country via iHeart, thank you for that. And of course, before we get started, and we do have to get started because we have a special guest this afternoon, President of the Cook County Bar Association.
President-elect, right?
No, he's actually the president.
Oh, okay, yeah. The president.
Yeah. The president, Nicholas Cummings. But before we get to President Cummings, I have to say hello to my beautiful wife, Kelly, who is listening, as she always does. And not only that, but many of the people that work for her are listening as well. So, Kelly and your team, hello to you. And without further ado, let's bring on President of the Cook County Bar Association, Attorney Nicholas Cummings. President Nicholas Cummings, welcome. Are you there?
I'm here. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. Now, we're so glad that you're joining us this afternoon. Of course, you have the one and only Darlene Hill on with us, and Mr. Atiba Buchanan. They are the host of the afternoon show, so they're here with us.
Thanks for joining us, Mr. Cummings, and congratulations.
Thank you for having me, and it's always good to be in the presence of such distinguished company. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys this afternoon.
And, of course, you're talking about distinguished company. You're talking about Ted London, right?
Hey, D. Hill.
I was talking about Darlene Hill. So.
Yeah. I was wondering who he was talking about, D. Hill.
I thought he was straight up, seriously, Ted.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about you.
Well, of course, it had to be you. So President Cummings, welcome. You know what? You're the incoming president or the new president of the Cook County Bar Association. Why don't you tell us what's going on with the CCBA these days? And even if you want to even start with that, I'm not sure enough African-American folks here in Chicagoland are even familiar with the Cook County Bar Association. Why don't you start by giving us some background about the CCBA if you can?
Sure. Much like a lot of our mainly black institutions, the CCBA started because of an inability to have access to other institutions. So you had a group of lawyers starting in 1896 that started to meet informally, try and discuss some of the issues that they faced, protests against discrimination in hotels, theaters, restaurants, issues with judicial elections, school segregation, the like. And in 1914 began to sort of formalize and form the association of the Cook County Bar Association, which is the oldest association of black lawyers and judges in the country. We had distinguished members such as Ida Platt, who was the first black woman to be licensed in the state of Illinois. Edward Wright, who was our first president. I am joining a distinguished fraternity of individuals who have been president of the CCBA, including our current Supreme Court Justice P. Scott DeVille, Illinois Appellate Court Justice Verdrina Lyle, the retired Judge Arnett Hubbard, who was the first woman to be president of the CCBA, James Montgomery, who was the first black corporation counsel for the city of Chicago. I myself was the first black city attorney for the city of Evanston. So I always shout out James Montgomery. And, of course, distinguished lawyers Larry Rogers Sr. and Jr. So the Cook County Bar Association has been involved in trying to advocate for the rights, mainly the rights, equality for black folks for over 100 years. We're now in our 110th year. So I'm very excited about the prospects that we have coming up for this next bar year.
I want to just add a couple of other historical members of the Cook County Bar Association. Of course, this list isn't exhaustive, and I'm sorry to even mention these names, because if you mention them, if you get some, then it becomes a problem. But I just need to mention Justice Eugene Pencham, a member of Cook County Bar Association, Judge Bill Hook,
absolutely,
Judge George Layton, the 26th in California criminal building is named after him. Former member, Cook County Bar Association, Attorney Larry Keenan, Geraldine Simmons, Justice P. Scott Neville, member of Cook County Bar Association, former Justice Charles Freeman, member, and the one and only Barack Obama pays his dues to the Cook County Bar Association. So here in Chicago, we are really lucky, black folks, that is. We are really lucky because we have many, many qualified, really accomplished black lawyers that really come from Chicago and that are in Chicago today. So we should be making sure that we're taking advantage of the black professionals that we have here in the Chicagoland area.
Absolutely.
President Cummings. So tell us some things that you want to accomplish in your year as the president of the Cook County Bar Association, and or tell us some of the other things that the CCBA is involved in now.
So one of the things the CCBA, I'll sort of answer that in reverse, right? So one of the things the CCBA is involved in now is we have a very active Lawyers in the Community Committee. And our Lawyers in the Community Committee, starting pre-pandemic and through the pandemic and even currently now, has been sort of the arm of the organization that has been involved in community outreach. Being out in the community, passing out PPE during the pandemic, serving food at various different shelters and food pantries, making sure that our law students had care packages during finals, making sure that we are actually visible in the community. And to build off of that, I actually want the Cook County Bar Association, not just the lawyers in the community committee, to be outside and be in the community, but so that our advocates, our lawyers, are seen by other folks in the community to connect them so that they can actually get representation that looks like them. So often when I was in civil litigation practice, I would come to court and the plaintiff, I was on the defense side working for the government. The plaintiff would look like me, but their lawyer didn't. And so I would always be curious how they were able to find that attorney. Even when I was a criminal prosecutor, the defense lawyer didn't look like me, but the defendant might have looked like me. So I would always be curious how they were able to find that lawyer. But we have the Cook County Bar Association that is full of talent in a multitude of arenas of practice, and we need to be able to actually get that out to the community so that our folks can connect with the community and be able to represent them in court in a way that we know that they can. So often, as we have become more successful, and one of the other things that sort of come up, Ted, in your introduction, as we become more successful as a group of people, we start to get divided as well among certain lines, whether it be income, gender, sexual orientation, and the like. We need to try and gravitate back towards a singular agenda and remember that we are stronger together. That's the theme of my year this year, and understanding that collectively we can be much more successful than we can in silos individually. So those are the things that I would like us to try and get to this year as president.
And Atiba and D. Hill, you know what? If we have callers that have questions that they'd like to present to President Cummings about the Chicago Cook County Bar Association, please, let's accept those calls.
Let me go ahead and open the phone lines then, Attorney London. The phone lines are indeed open. If you want to speak to Attorney London and or Attorney Cummings, please feel free to give us a call at 773-591-1690. Always get your questions answered with the experts on the line. Go ahead.
And then, President Cummings, tell us about some of the other things or objectives that the Cook County Bar Association has as, for example, judicial evaluations. Tell us, what role does the Cook County Bar Association play in helping select good judges that's going to work for our community?
Sure, and that the work of that committee is near and dear to my heart because I served as its chair for about 2 years, between 2017 and 2018. All of the bar associations take an opportunity to engage in the evaluation of attorneys and sitting judges during a period of either retention or prior to the primary. And the Cook County Bar Association has been really involved in that for many, many years. Thanks to the work of Justice Neville and others, we are part of the Alliance of Bar Associations, which is now about 12 or 13 organizations, I believe 13 organizations, that will come together and evaluate the candidates for judge. And at the end of our evaluation, we try to publish these ratings to the community. I know that's one of the things I try to make sure that beyond the Daily Law Bulletin or even just our normal legal publications, that we get those ratings into the hands of voters, because you can actually take those ratings with you into the voting booth and understand that the people that practice in front of these judges or who have practiced with these attorneys that now want to become a judge have had the opportunity to sort of peer review them and tell you as a voter whether these people are qualified for the job or not. And that is something that the Cook County Bar Association takes very seriously. We are sensitive to specifically whether these candidates are keeping in mind or keeping at the forefront if they can be fair, they can be just, and if they are sensitive to the issues that are important to our community, because we understand that, from a criminal justice standpoint and the like, we tend to be, more often in court than we are in any other politically elected place. And so we take that responsibility and that duty very seriously to evaluate these candidates to make sure that they are qualified for the bench before you get an opportunity to vote for them either in the primary or in the general election, which we actually have a general election coming up in November for people who either won both folks won the primary in March. They are now up for general election in November for those judges.
I want to ask you something that we heard the other day, Attorney Cummings. We had the the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, in with us the other day, and he talked about this position and the pressure that comes with it. And I want to see if it's the same thing for black attorneys, especially in the nation's climate right now. He described it as white fear, black expectations. Do you feel that when you're in the courtroom? Because sometimes we sometimes, and I've seen this before as a television reporter here in Chicago, some of the inmates would walk in or defendants would walk in and they'd see a black judge or a black attorney be like, oh, we got this.
Yeah. So I think, Cook County in Illinois is very fortunate in terms of we have one of the most diverse judiciaries in the country at both the federal and state level. We are very, very, very fortunate in that. And so, there was a time for sure where you could walk into a courtroom and not see anyone that looked like you. When the prosecutor wasn't black, the defense attorney wasn't even black, the judge wasn't black, none of the jury members may have been black. And so that could be intimidating and the like. Because of the work of the Cook County Bar Association, its members, and some of the other luminaries and politicians, we have worked very diligently to create a diverse judiciary, and we have a diverse legal profession, a much more diverse legal profession. Our current state's attorney is black. Our public defender is black. The employees of those various offices are much more diverse than they used to be. And so,
Chief Judge is black.
The judges are black. We have a much more diverse electorate, so that when people get jury summons, because they're registered voters, they get jury summons, or they have a driver's license, so they get a jury summons. So that pool is much more diverse. And so I think we may not have the same challenges as they might have in Mississippi with those same burdens or expectations or fears. I will say that I have a lot of friends of mine who are in law enforcement, friends and fraternity brothers who are in law enforcement that do say, because of the scrutiny that is now on the profession, it is a little more difficult. Well, they find it's a little more, I don't want to say difficult, they find it a little more challenging to carry out what they feel is like what is supposed to be their job. So, because the judges are looking skeptically now, the attorneys are looking skeptically now. They want to make sure the evidence is tight. They want to make sure that, because nobody wants to get overturned on the conviction, right? So
no, right.
They want to make sure that they get it right the first time. And I think that's what you see now, as opposed to some of the exercises of the past.
All right, we've got a call on line one. Mr. Prince is on with us. Hello, Mr. Prince. You're on WVON.
Yeah, thank you for coming to work today. Listen, man, attorney, man, I'm 93 years old, man, and the words you are saying is so true, man, to get us back as a group, because otherwise they're fracturing us, and once we lose that power, they can really do anything they want. We got to come back in here. When I hear some young man talking about he's voting for Trump, man, I cringe. You understand? Here's what happened, sir. When they brought us over here from Africa, they didn't tell me what village I came from, so I don't know what family values I have in the tribe that, if I did come from there. I don't know anything with the Watusis, if I'm a Mutus, if I'm Hutus. So when we came here, they stripped us of all our knowledge about our country. And what we have to do now, we're trying to emulate other cultures. And these other cultures don't want us in. No culture wants another culture in their culture. Okay? So consequently, we are just outside. I'm not no African American. I'm a black person. I'm black. So when you make the rules about black and brown, give me a break. Okay? That's why we never get anything, especially the black male, man. And what they do with they got rid of Kim Fox, because Kim Fox was letting a lot of black men out of jail. And they couldn't have that going, so they put pressure on her that she had to get out the system. My thing is this here, what they used us for when I was coming up the electric trail was the boogeyman. You know, if you kill somebody, you get the electric chair, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Then it moved into where the injection for getting.
Mr. Prince, if I may interject, did you have a question for our panelists? Because we're short on time.
Well, actually, Atiba, let me interject in here. Mr. Prince did bring up a great point, and that's in that relates to us getting together. And, that brings me to the point before. Thank you, Mr. Prince. That brings me to the point that I want to just share with the listeners before we leave. There is an opportunity for us to get together. And in fact, it's next Friday, June 28th, at the Hyatt Regency downtown. It's the Cook County Bar Association installation and award ceremony. And, this is where President Cummings is going to officially be sworn in as the president of the Cook County Bar Association. Listen, and all the listeners, you can come. You can go to the Cook County Bar Association website, and you can buy a ticket. The event starts at 5 o'clock. The cocktail hour does. President Cummings, what's the attire? It's business attire. It's going to be a great event.
Or cocktail attire. It is not, we're not formal this year, not black tie. But you are welcome to, come dressed up enough after work to come and have a cocktail at the cocktail hour, and stay for the program where we have the installation awards banquet. We'll be recognizing Senators L.G. Sims and Maddie, I can't remember her last name at the moment. It's escaping me.
Hunter?
Give me 1 second.
State Senator Maddie Hunter?
Maddie Hunter, yes. We're recognizing both of them. We are going to be addressed by the Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives, Emmanuel Chris Welch. He's our keynote this year. We will be giving recognition to two folks who might not be very familiar, people might not be familiar with. It's George Fothery out of California and Juliette Pryor, who is the General Counsel of Lowe's. So we're excited about the program. Thank you, Ted, for teeing it up. But, yeah, come on out next Friday. The website is cookcountybar.org/events, and you'll be able to find information about tickets there.
So tickets are still available, because you better be suited and booted with the names you just listed.
Tickets are still available. Not a lot, but tickets are still available.
And Attorney Cummings, which frat brothers are going to be joining you?
My fraternity brothers, Reverend Dr. Charlie Date.
What frat?
Emmanuel Chris
what frat?
Welch. Oh, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
You're my frat brother then. Congratulations. I just wanted to shout you out like that, okay?
And if some of you listeners have more questions, you can always call our office as well, 773-721-3333. I want to do one more quick minute. I have to say thank you to Cordelia Brown, the executive director of the Cook County Bar Association. She does so much work for the CCBA. We'd be remiss by thanking her for all the work that she does. So, Cordelia, if you're listening, thank you for all the work that you do for the Cook County Bar Association.
And Attorney Ted London, thank you for joining us with such a fabulous guest this week with us. Thank you, Attorney Nicholas Cummings. We appreciate you. Best of luck to the upcoming year. We want to hear from you again here on WVON.
Thank you
guys very much.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
I was having a medical procedure, and I wanted to ensure my kids would get my home should something happen to me. I called Attorney Ted London. He provided a land trust and power of attorney. Now my kids would not have to go through the probate process.
After the death of my husband, I had to get my affairs in order. I called Attorney Ted London. Now my family and home will not have to go through the probate process.
When you need your estate plan done, call Attorney London.
773-721-3333.